Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today's live webinar. I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui from GenZ Marketing Agency. And today we have a very special event. We are celebrating the International Women's Day, the Women's Celebration Week. And we have a very special guest today and to talk about specifically women's. And we're going to be talking about diversity and inclusion in the workplace as well in the community. Our guest is on its having some technical issues, and when it is done, I'm going to be introducing her with you. I haven't done Women's Day in the past as an anchor. I was invited to many events, but this is my first ever International Women's Day event anchoring today, and I hope you will like it. And our guest is ready, so I'm just going to introduce her and invite her to the stage. So she is Arzia Basi. You probably know her because we did past few events on our channels, NBC, TRI, and this channel. So Arzia, thank you for coming and joining this live events. In fact, one thing that Arzia asked me if I could do these events, so it's full credit to her because without her, as a man, I wouldn't thinking of doing an International Women's Day event. But here we go. We are here. Arzia, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. After all the technical problems, I'm glad that you can see me on screen and it looks okay.
Yeah, we didn't we just have 1 minute delay, so that's okay. I think the viewers they are okay with it. So you know, every year we celebrate. There are different type of events. If you talk about Women's Day, Men's Day, this day and that day, and actually what I have seen specifically as I'm very much observe the Women's Day, Men's Day, and New Diversity, okay, celebration week or day. There are lots of work going on, but actually, when I talk to people, they still have that problems. They still have the inner anger, like, okay, the community is not ready, community is not doing enough, this and that. You are working in the community, working with women, specifically Asian and non-Asian women's. What do you see? Are we overcoming our barriers, or still is a slag?
We've got a very long way to go. So even today, I've been to a few different meetings and a few different events today. And even today, people are saying that they are being discriminated against all the time. And it's not just on gender. People are being discriminated on their race, their religion, their postcodes, their sexual orientation. There's so many. It's called intersectional factors. So all of our personal factors like our gender, our race, our religion, our status, our education, our professions, all of these factors contribute to how we are treated. So compared to, say, a white lady, I will be treated worse off, and I have been all the time, compared to, say, my white friends. Compared to a man, I might be discriminated against on that. If I have ADHD, if I have trauma affects, if I have a history of domestic violence, if I am not highly educated, if I don't have a professional job, there are so many different things that we are mistreated for. It shouldn't happen. We are all human beings. We should be treated as equals. We should all be given the same opportunities. If, for example, we're going to a professional and we're asking for help, why are we not getting the help and support that, say, my white counterparts are getting? What is it about me that makes other people want to mistreat me? And I actually last week I went to an event or a meeting or something, and there was someone from Saints there. He might be watching, I'm not sure. And I actually said to him, I said, is there something on me? Is there like a sticker on me? Is there something on my back? Is there something on me that says, kick me, hurt me, bully me, discriminate against? Because I don't understand. What is it about me or other women like me that is making people treat us like this?
Mm-hmm. I totally agree with you because, when I see different people, or when I talk to different people, due to my work, I intend to talk to many new division people. Yes, different age, color, and nationalities. Over there, their emission and their thinking are different, totally different. And when you talk about specifically like discrimination, some of them, their eyes are very big. Okay, is it happened still in the UK? And then I said, yes, probably you do not see the other side of the discrimination. Yes, it's improving. That's very thank you. That's very good. Like the on the other day, there's going to be I don't know that people will laugh at it. Uh, BBC BBC featuring Rishi Sunak and asked him, "Are you British or English?" He said, "I'm English." And people laughed at him because how come you become English? You are Asian born brought up here. That's the question. Who we are, what is our, what is our
Identity.
identity? That is a mystery. Do you have anything to add on that comment?
Well, what you were saying about people not believing that discrimination still exists. So I recently had a conversation with someone about this, or a couple of people about this, and they said racism. Surely racism is better now. And I said, growing up in 1980s in St Mary's, it's known to be is a lot of racial tension going on between whites and Asians and blacks, and all the different colours and races and things like that. And it was really, really bad when I was little. But since 9/11, since all of the major things that we've had, like COVID and things have got worse again. I don't think it's getting better. I don't think there's more awareness. I think, if anything, people are even worse now. I think maybe the 90s maybe was a bit better, or the 2000s might have been better. But certainly in the last few years, last 10 years or so, I've noticed it's just really, really bad. And it's almost like subtle, everyday things are happening. Everyday discrimination, everyday racism, everyday intolerance towards other people. And sometimes, like you say, people don't realize. So, for example, people of the Black and ethnic minority who maybe English is a second language, so they don't pick up on certain things that are said, certain words that are used, certain ways that people look at them or talk to them. I notice because, I've been here most of my life, so English is like my first language. And it angers me when I feel someone is treating me differently just because I'm not white, or just because I'm Muslim, or just because I have ADHD, or just because I'm a trauma victim or something. It really makes me angry. I don't know why in the 21st century we have to be subjected to discrimination, to racism, to sexism. Why can't we all agree to be different and to accept each other's difference and to celebrate each other's difference, because it's what makes the world a beautiful place.
It's a true fact. Even if you look at the recent USA history, the women and the man, fight. They have selected the man, not in women. Okay, so in that way, if you see the big giant stronghold of legislation, they talk about lots of different things in the society and the community. It's still out there. Like it's going to be very much, I would say, a critical criticism that they in USA, Donald Trump, he abolished the gender thing, isn't it? It's just men and women, nothing else. Okay, so you have in gender, you have gender different recognitions.
Okay, do you mean the different orientations? So he's abolished they, them, teapot, the different things that people can identify as. He's abolished that kind of stuff. Okay, I have purposefully not been following US politics because everybody I speak to wants me to watch the US politics, wants me to comment on it, and it's just too much. I don't really have a very liking for Donald Trump, but I'm not going to comment and I'm not going to get involved because some people can get very angry and upset depending on which side you are on. There's enough problems in the UK. There's enough problems in my life and in my clients' lives and in my children's lives for me to worry about than what Donald Trump is doing in the USA. I have a lot of clients who live in the USA who are being affected by all of this. And I can only say I'm really sorry for everything that's going on in the USA. But let's focus on home because there's a lot of problems here as well that we need to focus on. And if we waste all our time focusing on everywhere else, what are we going to do about the problems here in the UK?
Okay, Arsia. So we're going to be concentrating now on breaking the barriers. Okay, how we can overcome social and workplace challenges. What you think as a Asian born brought up person here, what do you think the barriers actually out there?
I think people approach other people with their own preconceptions. So stereotypes. We judge people on stereotypes. So, for example, when I went into a workforce and it was a mix, it was completely mixed. You know, there weren't many women. It was mainly predominantly men, and it was a mix of every different culture. But it's almost like because I was an admin receptionist, I was looked on as almost like back home they have servants. So I was given almost the status. It wasn't an agreed status or anything, but it was the way I was made to feel that I'm the servant of that group of people. So it's almost like a misconception that because I'm an Asian woman, I must be the servant. I'm the cook, the cleaner, the housekeeper, and stuff like that. You know, it's our stereotypes of people is how we then treat them.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I think just before we went live, we were discussing about so no offense to anybody if these words are offensive to anybody or anything, blonde bimbo. So we have this thing about blondes being not very clever. Mm-hmm. I have always felt that I'm a brunette bimbo because of the way people treat me or people look at me. You know, if you see somebody who's got makeup on, somebody who's laughing, joking, somebody who's doesn't look professional in the like suited, booted way, they don't think you have much brains or much intelligence. Mm-hmm. I've got A's, A stars and distinctions. I've done psychology. I've done child psychology. I've done counselling. I've done, health and social care. I've always been top in everything. But because I laugh and joke, because I have ADHD, I'm very hyper. I like to laugh about everything. I like to enjoy life. I don't want to take things seriously because there's enough serious and negative things in my life already. They think I'm stupid, and that's how they will then treat me. Why do we have to judge people? Why can't we wait to see and find out about a person and treat everybody individually? Everybody's different.
I totally agree with you because I gave my examples many of the times to the audiences. I've been through lots of interviews, and I did not get a job due to my disclosures of my neurodiversity, my disability, and all other things. Same like you, I'm top of all the work that I do, but I cannot produce the results when I'm going for an interview. In short conversation, I'm not very good at it. But if you work with me, then you will see how good I am on a specific task and how can I do that. I think people, they're out there, the interview systems and all other things are not actually fit for purpose. It's just like fit for those people. They are very good at doing things that you can't, that I can't, or many other people can't. So my next question to you would be,
Shah, before you move on, I was going to say, with regards to like the interview process things, it's a bit similar to say exams. So there are a lot of really, really clever people who struggle with the structure of an exam, like GCSEs, A levels, whatever. But they are very, very intelligent and they know all the information. It's just the way the system is structured. It's almost like structured against them. So it's like the interview process. If you're not good at an interview, you can't pass the interview and you won't get the job. Unless you find a boss who thinks outside of the box and says, well, actually, let me get to know this person out of an interview setting and just sits and chats there. So it's understanding that we are all different. We all have different abilities and different approaches of things. Just because we can't do something one way doesn't make us stupid. I love this thing that I found out last year, and I think we mentioned it in one of the other interviews, is that the MI5 were actively recruiting people with neurodiversities because neurotypical people cannot think outside the box, and they need neurodiverse people to be able to come in and think outside the box to find solutions for the problems that other people can't. And it just highlights how valuable we are and how unique we are, and I wish society would accept it.
I totally agree with you because I can remember a few years back I went to BBC, so I was taking part of an interview, and you know that they have different sort of stages. So I was at the last stage, and on that day when I went there, the pressure was very high, so my performance was very poor, I would say. I was the only person with the specific education, and they did not recruit me. Why? Because I performed very worst, and I know I have done that, because one day from morning till after evening, you just spend entire day over there, and different type of examination lead to different type of thing. It's just like guinea pig. They are checking you with giving this, that, this in one day. How could you know a person? Is it possible?
No, and the thing with that is what I've noticed, and I did it because a lot of women, especially as it's International Women's Day, and we're talking about women, a lot of women are now being diagnosed in later life with neurodiversity, with ADHD, with autism, or both, or other things, and like they may have spent their whole life not knowing that they have. And so I am waiting to be confirmed, but I know I have traits of ADHD and I have traits of autism. Now, one of the things of that is, and I've noticed that now, and even doing this interview at 5 o'clock in the evening, to me, I'm
Mhm.
exhausted. When I'm tired, I can't function. I really
Right.
struggle. I will struggle to stay awake. I will struggle to concentrate. I will struggle to talk. I will struggle to answer. So rushing around all day, I was kicking myself thinking, I have this to do at 5 o'clock. I should have rested during the day so I'm not tired. Because if I'm tired, my mind will shut off. And
Mhm.
that's part of the problem, like you say, with your all day interview. How can they expect people to be able to function all day like that, especially neurodiverse people, when you're burnt out?
I totally agree. I totally agree. So I'm going to jump into my next questions, because we are talking about International Women's Day. So, we have many strategies, many laws, legislation, everything is over there. In career growth and leadership, uh, what's the other barrier for women specifically for them to engage with leadership?
Like I said, with the preconceptions of people. So, one of my friends is highly qualified and she manages various things. I can't say exactly all the roles that she does. She's quite um, professional in that sense and stuff. And she told me at one of the International Women's Day events that she went into an office where it's mainly men, so she was probably one or two women or whatever. And she went in there, and she's actually senior to nearly all of the people there. But they assumed she was a receptionist or an admin or a secretary or a PA, somebody low. So they actually told, one of them said to her about getting tea and coffee. So she said, yes, off you go then, go and get me a cup of tea or coffee. And they were shocked because they didn't think a woman would be higher up than them and would be senior to them and would be managing the entire group.
Mhm.
People don't expect women to be able to be in high positions, to be leaders, to be CEOs and stuff. They automatically assume that you can't be qualified enough, you can't be experienced enough, you can't be intelligent enough. And I find, and I think a lot of men feel threatened. So if there's a woman who's in a senior position, they will feel threatened by that. And maybe you can explain why men feel threatened by women in higher
I
positions.
I don't have that kind of mentality. As you know, that I work with men and women both, and women can be very much genius than men. You can see there are lots of scientists, top level marketing people, business people, and lots of in many offices. You will see that women, they are holding the CEO post. If I give an example, my wife's, okay, she helped me to come to this stage. Okay, she sacrificed her lives, and she lead me, do this, do that, and we talk each other valuable lessons, valuable life lessons. You probably know that in my past life it wasn't very good, and we took decision from moving from a council property to come to Southampton to start my education. Okay, and she supported it. Now she is doing her psychology masters and intend to do a PhD later. But she sacrificed herself, and I know the talent she has. Okay, I will always value a woman as much as I value a man. That would be myself. But I don't understand the other people, other men's, because I don't know what is their mentality. So we may ask these questions, like where you are seeing this kind of negligence, I would say, in relation to women, neurodiversity, men, disabled, less able, all of those things. What are there you can see in the government levels or in the organization levels, they can improve this?
Well, I think about a year ago, actually, we were discussing racism, institutionalized racism and discrimination. Because in any given organization, say like the government statutory services and so on, so you've got doctors, healthcare, you've got police, you've got council office and things like that. If you look at the ratio of men and women, say in Southampton Civic Centre, there are a lot more upper class white men than there are women. There are a lot more white men than there are Asian men or black men. There are, do you have any Eastern Asian? Do you have any, Southern Asian and stuff? It's very rare that you will get a woman, an Asian, a Muslim. Why? Why are organizations specifically recruiting upper class white men for their roles? Why do they discriminate against it? Even, for example, in our local school, there were no senior members of staff who weren't white. There were men and women, but they were all white. And I questioned this, and I said, in this day and age where it's diversity and inclusion, and we're all, we should all be given a fair chance at everything, where are the non-white people? There aren't any.
So how
that makes me.
This barrier?
What's that? What's the
How
barrier?
we overcome this barrier? Because you can still see these differences.
Yeah, I think maybe make it compulsory. Maybe government can make it compulsory that every organization, like they do, for example, I think it's in disability law and equality law that you have to recruit a certain percentage of your workforce has to have a disability. And I think that's part of UK legislation. Perhaps we need to amend that to say it has to be a diverse force. You have to recruit a certain percentage of women, coloured, Asian, South, have it so it's fair. Because in a private organization, you can't dictate to them who they recruit. They might say we didn't have a good candidate, so we had to recruit a white one or a male or whatever. Perhaps it needs to be part of legislation to make it equal. So the Equality Act, which dictates that we should all be treated equally, no discrimination, we need to make it compulsory that you give everybody a fair chance.
I totally agree with you. I do agree with this, but this topic, I was talking to someone previously, and to everyone, if you're watching this live webinar, I am Dr. Shah Siddiqui from GenZ Marketing Agency, and we have Arsia from the Phoenix Raising. So we are talking today on International Women's Day, and we're going to be talking more. So on your comments on the specific quota, I was talking to someone that, okay, why don't we have a specific quota? But on the legislation, if there is 25 different things, if you hire one specific tick boxes, you are not legally binding. That's another problem, because we have men, women, Asian and Black and all other communities here, disabled people, neurodivergent people. So if you hire any of them with this full list of categories, you are covered. Yeah. So if you wanted to say that, okay, you will have proportionate wise, how can you solve these problems? Because they might say, okay, I hired a white neurodivergent person.
Okay. Well, maybe it needs to be. I hate the word tick boxing, because what I find is a lot of institutions get round things by just tick boxing. So I'll give you an example. Okay, my son's school, in order to show that they are supporting children with neurodiversities and additional needs, they give them a pass to go to a wellbeing hub if they feel overwhelmed for 5 minutes. Now, I said to them, so a child walks upstairs to the wellbeing hub, 5 minutes. By the time he's got there, it's 5 minutes, he's coming back. So if a child has a meltdown, is overwhelmed, is like feeling really unwell or whatever, how can 5 minutes help them? Because I know from personal experience, if you have a PTSD meltdown, it could be half an hour, could be a whole day. You don't know how long it's going to take before you get back. So I actually said to them, is this part of a tick box exercise that if anybody asks for statistics and anybody asks, what do you do for neurodivergent or additional need children? We give them a wellbeing pass. We have 20 people on a wellbeing pass. Children can go out. They're not seeing that it's only 5 minutes and it's literally go out the door, time to come back, let's come back. I find a lot of people can find loopholes in legislation, can find loopholes in anything really, just to get out of it. So it's really difficult to monitor this kind of thing. I think
Mhm.
trying to enforce this kind of thing would be really difficult. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe our audience can make some suggestions as to how do we get around this problem.
I totally agree with you because when you discuss and research more about these things, you find all the loopholes, and we need to fix those loopholes, and as well as fix people. Like, okay, if you are a person and you can hire someone, you have to hire with your thinking and with your better mind, I would say, not like worse mind that, okay, you're going to be hiring all those people that you like or love, okay, like, the leaders, what they do, they only took those people, they praise them. On those people, they criticize them, or critical criticisms, they don't hire them because they don't like them either. So we're just going to continue our conversation. Before I go back to my conversation, to all the audiences, we are doing an in-person event on next Thursday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the Fairham Innovation Center. So this is the events we are doing from Andy Business Club, and we're going to be talking to all the in-person attendees. What legislation do we need to change for neurodivergent people if they are accepted to the community, workplace, education, businesses, and all other things. So please stay tuned and look in my profile and Anna Bromington profile. So if you wanted to join, feel free to join us on next 13th at the Fairham Innovation Center. So thank you, Arzia. It was a really interesting conversation. We wanted to go to our next segments, fostering inclusive work environments. Okay, we understand that there are gaps out there. They need to be addressed. Yes, we have come across lots of developments. We thank you to the British people that they have made this adjustment for us, because I came from outside of the UK. I didn't born here. You can, and as well as I'm Asian, okay, but I lived half of my lives here. So this culture and this country is my country. If I go back to Bangladesh, I cannot stay there because I think that I left something in the UK. Okay, I have to go there because that's my place now. So in relation to fostering inclusive work environments, what else we can do? Maybe the role of business, supporting women leaderships and neurodivergent, or policies or mentorships for specific business purposes. What we can do?
I think, say for example, let's take neurodiversity. I don't know if that word has been around for
Mhm.
longer. I've only heard it for the last 2-3 years, maybe, being used, and it's used a lot now. You hear it everywhere. Whereas a few years ago, 5 years ago, I never heard the word. I didn't even know there was a word like that existed. And I think we need to educate people more. So, for example, when you think about ADHD, you think about a little boy at school jumping about and being really hyperactive and not sitting down and not being able to concentrate. The amount of adults, men, women, that have ADHD that haven't realized they have, the amount of, say, women, it's International Women's Day, the amount of women that are being diagnosed. So it's educating people. So, for example, just came to mind, right? I went to a radio station and I was going to do a show for this radio station. And I wanted to be really honest, because previously when I've been elsewhere, I haven't told them my history. I haven't told them any of my affects. I didn't know I had a lot of the affects and things, but I saw that caused problems later, that I hadn't told them about these things. So I'm going to be really honest. So almost in the first meeting, I just blurted out everything. The person that was interviewing me or checking me or whatever went like, whoa. And he said, it's all very well people being open about all of their issues. If they've got neurodiversity, if they got like trauma affects, if they got PTSD, whatever, it's great. No, he didn't even say it's great. He said it's all very well that people are very open about their things, but nobody teaches us how to deal with it.
Mhm.
And I was thinking, what training do you want? I'm trying to be honest with you and tell you that I have these issues in case there's a barrier later, to make sure you know from the beginning that I have these. But it's not that I can't perform. It's not that I'm not going to be good at my job. It's not that I'm not going to try to do my job as best as I can, like everybody else. I just want you to know that I might be a bit hyper one day. It's because I have ADHD. I might have a bit of a trigger. I've got PTSD, whatever. But that negative reaction I got from him then made me doubt. Maybe I shouldn't be honest. Maybe I need to carry on masking like I have been all my life. It's almost like we can't win. If we're honest and open and tell people, they think, whoa, no, like you said, they're not going to hire you. They don't want you to work there. You're a weirdo. But then there may be lots of people that have worse things than I do, but don't tell you. And then later on, you find out this person has got worse conditions and things. So what is the answer? Are we open and honest, or do we mask and pretend we have no issues, and then we go to work and we can't do our job the next day? You just don't know what you're expected to do. Unfortunately, the way I am, whether it's because of ADHD, whether it's because I have PTSD, whether it's because of my history of trauma, I'm very honest and open. I hate lying. I hate pretending. I hate masking. I hate not being myself. I need to be myself to be happy. And that what I'm teaching myself and what I'm learning more and more is, if someone can't accept me how I am, then I don't want to work with them. I don't want to be there. So I actually told this person that I don't want to work there, because I can't go in every day feeling uncomfortable, knowing that he's having an issue with me and he's making me feel uncomfortable and he's making me question who I am. There's nothing wrong with who I am. Yes, I have these issues. I can't see anybody else living the life that I have and not have any issues whatsoever. The fact that I am not in a psychiatric unit, or I am not drinking myself into oblivion, I am functioning, I'm saving lives, I'm supporting 14,000 people every day, is testament to my resilience and my strength.
I totally agree with you, because when mostly the neurodivergent people, I have seen that they some of them, not all of them, most of the neurodivergent people, they can't mask, but some of them they can mask. And I think it's a good way to hide it. Why I'm saying it's good way? Because I suffered myself. To be open to people, I suffered myself, regardlessly of my color, regardlessly of my brain, regardlessly of my capacity. It doesn't matter really. I suffered because I was open about my conditions. I was open about what I am. So I think it's better if you hide it and then later you disclose it. And it's another thing. I was talking to some other people as well, and they said, no, we hide it. Because why we hide it? Because we've been treated as negatives in many occasions, and that's why we did it. But usually, shouldn't be the way. That
That's
shouldn't
what
be.
I'm saying. So what I believe, and what our discussion is, I believe today, is, why do people have to hide who they are? Why do we have to mask who we are? Why do we have to pretend to be something different? We need a society, a community, a workforce, an environment that we can be open about who we are. We can feel comfortable who we are, knowing that we won't be judged, we won't be discriminated against, we won't be mistreated, we will be given equal opportunities and everything, and people will accept us as we are. And I love this quote, which I use quite often in my group and with my clients, is, to love someone exactly as they are is the loudest way to love them. If you can accept somebody for everything they are and everything they're not, with all their quirks and shortcomings, that is the best way you can love someone.
I totally agree. So thank you, everyone. And thank you, all the viewers. You're watching this webinar. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask us to the comment box. If it's not, we're going to be continuing our conversation. We're going to be ending our session really a little bit earlier, because it's Ramadan and I'm fasting. So it's iftar is 6 o'clock. So I need to prepare for the iftar. And if anyone watching this webinar, Ramadan Kareem to everyone, Muslim and non-Muslim. And we are talking today for International Women's Day, and we will continue our conversation to the next segments. We talk about STEAM, okay, and as well as business and entrepreneurships. In relating with the women, we can see there are less women there rather than men. So in respect of our family, if we say, okay, family, what we need to change for more women to go to science, technology related subject rather than arts or cultural subjects?
I think as a society and as a culture and community and stuff, historically,
Mhm,
there is a lot of gender bias and stereotype. So
mhm,
for girls, it's pink, for boys, it's blue. For girls, it's dolls, for boys, it's cars. So I think when it comes to occupation and the working force and the work environment, it's the same. So women are geared towards and encouraged towards home economics and those kind of soft professions, whereas men are more geared towards science, engineering, medicine, and things. So it's changing people's stereotypes. Say, for example, parents. So I've got four boys. I've always been open with my four boys. Whatever they find interesting or enjoy or want to do or have a talent for, I'm happy for them to do it. At one point, my second son wanted to do breakdancing. Now, as a Bengali, you will know that Bengali and Asian and Muslim people do not encourage music and breakdancing. That's no career. I said, if my son is happy and he's good at it and he wants to do it and he can make a career for himself and he can pay for his bills, he can do it, because I'm not going to be there to live his life for him or to pay for his bills or whatever. He has to do it. So I think we need more openness and more willingness for parents to accept their children as they are. So neurodivergent children, a lot of parents might not realize their children has a neurodiversity if they have autism, dyslexia, or ADHD and stuff. So we will always try to conform our children into these boxes that, children should do this, children should do that. We don't value and we don't celebrate their differences, and we don't celebrate that they may enjoy doing something completely different. Like my son likes to dig up mud and dirt and stuff. Now, as a parent, it's like, oh my God, he's getting muddy and dirty. But actually, he could become an archaeologist from that. I don't know. It's like looking at the bigger picture. He wants to be picking up stones and sticks all day. Well, I don't really want a house full of stones and sticks and his pockets and everything dirty, but he could make an amazing career from that when he's older. Maybe I should encourage him to and celebrate his differentness. One boy was he loved football, and as Asian parents, we think sports just a fun thing.
yeah.
Let's put towards engineering, medical, and lawyer. But he could become a top football player and earn millions and millions of pounds. He was actually a very good football player, actually. So I think more people need to be open. More people need to stop stereotyping. A girl can't play sports. Well, why can't a girl play sports? Boys shouldn't be doing cooking and the feminine things. Why can't we encourage boys to, there's just top chefs who are cooks, It is gender bias, it's discrimination, it's stereotypes that we need to challenge as a society to encourage more women to go into the fields like engineering and science and things. And then it's the workforce as well. So for example, you have women in, say, the army or the police force or the predominantly male environments who are then harassed, who have sexual harassment, who are bullied, who are picked on, who are treated as less than. We need to challenge those stereotypes. We need to challenge those mentalities, those toxic environments that do not allow women to thrive in any industry that they choose to.
I totally agree with you, Arsia. It's been a pleasure talking to you today. And we just have 5 more minutes as we're going to be ending our session in 5 minutes' time. So, end of this session, I just wanted to ask you what message you wanted to give it to the people, women, mothers, sisters, wives. They are watching this webinar, maybe now or later. What message really you wanted to give it to them to think about the International Women's Day, not for 1 week. They think about the entire year, entire lives.
I think as women, we are amazing. I mean, everybody's amazing. I think everybody's amazing. Everybody's fabulous and all that cushiony, fluffy stuff. But as women, we have to deal with so much. So we have to give birth to children, for example. We have periods and menopause and all of that stuff, all the baby related stuff. We have to run the home. Predominantly, women are expected to run the home, to work, to look after the children, to sort out the appointments and all the everyday thing. So we are multitasking. We are doing 10 different things at once. Leaving home in the morning, we have already been up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We've got washing on, we've got dishes in, we've got breakfast sorted, we've got lunch, dinner sorted. We've had to think about we are juggling. So career women who are in the working industry and stuff, have to juggle so many hats on any given day. And I think we need to celebrate how fabulous and amazing and resilient women are and how strong we are, because historically and culturally, women are looked on as the weaker sex, and they're weak, they need protecting. No. And actually, I've just said this quote to somebody before I came to this, is she needed a hero, so she became one. Don't look to anybody else to be your hero, to come and rescue you. You are the only person that can rescue yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't trust in your own powers, if you don't believe that you are worthy of love and respect and, having the careers and having the promotions and earning the money and things, nobody else will give you that respect. You have to have confidence in yourself. You have to love and respect and feel worthy, then expect it from anybody else. So I think, a lot of people come out of toxic relationships and toxic environments and they don't feel they deserve anything. You are worthy. You have always been worthy. You have always been enough. Learn that, accept it, tell yourself every day, look in the mirror and tell yourself how beautiful you are, how amazing you are, how intelligent you are, how worthy and how enough you are. And then go out into that world and you expect that from anybody. Anybody who gives you anything less, walk away. Say no. Say, I deserve better than that. I deserve better than the breadcrumbs that you are offering me. I want 100%. And if you can't give me 100%, then I am better off without you.
I totally, I would say, is a $1 million advice. I would say I was driving on the other day, and in Southampton, there are buses, and on the back of the buses is written $1 million journey in 1 hour to Isle of Wight. Okay, that attracted me. The way they portrayed it, that the way you say it is $1 million advice. If you don't trust yourself, nothing will happen. I give my example all the time. I don't want to go into detail, but I have seen my worst time and my good time. And if I did not trust myself, and if I did not push myself in a way, I wouldn't be this me. I wouldn't be here. So thank you, Arsia. Thank you, everyone who is watching this webinar. We had a very, very nice session today, and I hope you will enjoy the replay. And last remark to the audience.
I just had something in my head, but it shows my ADHD. It literally was in my head when you were talking. And now that you start talking, it's like, what was that thing I was just going to say as the last remark? And it's completely gone. So I don't know if I'm going to wrap up. And if it comes to me, I will say it definitely.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's just completely gone out of my head. I'm tired and it's the end of the day. So, I mean, if anybody follows me on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, I'm always posting memes. I'm always posting my sayings. Please follow me. Please join Phoenix Rising if you need any help and support on trauma or anything like that. Add me on Facebook, add me on LinkedIn. I quite often meet people for coffee and lunch and breakfast and have a chat in the community if people need support with anything. So anything, advocacy support, interpreting. So I speak Bengali, Hindi, Urdu. I do professional interpreting. I'm trying to help the ethnic Black and ethnic minority communities. I am at a lot of events and I'm around a lot. So come up to me, say hello, introduce yourselves, add me. Go on my Facebook and find all my quotes because my head is completely empty right now and I can't think.
That's okay. I think there's enough information for us for the next live, Arzia. Please stay on the line. I'm just gonna say bye to the audience. Thank you everyone for joining today's live. I'm very sorry that we have to cut it down to 45 minutes instead of an hour. Normally I do 1 hour live webinar and podcast. So I hope you have enjoyed our International Women's Day live webinar with Arzia Basik. If you need anything, please feel free to follow us and Arzia on our socials, LinkedIn, and all other social media. We will have another live tomorrow afternoon, 4 to 5 p.m. We're going to be talking about specifically marketing and how you can reduce your marketing cost and grow your business. I also will have some more lives. As you know, I do regular lives every week, and I will welcome you all other lives that I'm doing. Until then, stay tuned. Have a blessed time. Have a great weekend, and bye-bye.